Hello, Internet, and welcome back to some Petty Revenge. Go ahead, grab your tea, your coffee, whatever it is you want to drink, and curl up, and we shall begin reading some stories. Our first story today is Left My Old Place Due to Bad Management. My GlassDoor review comes up a lot in their interview process. By user Denise Nefinu. So, sorry. I'm just readjusting myself to get slightly more comfortable and still lazy. So, I had been working at a small agency for 8 years. I worked my way up from a junior to senior management very quickly. For most of the 8 years, the managers were very nice to me, but I witnessed them be shitty to other members of staff a lot. But because it never involved me or my team, I never stepped in. Sorry, that's my water falling over. I readjusted my body and it just decided, like, let's tip over. Luckily, it's got a closed lid, so it didn't spill all over my car where I record these episodes. A few months before I left, something happened where my MD was yelling at me in front of my team. This was something completely out of my control, and in the grand scheme of things, completely fixable in a non-issue. It was just I didn't have the correct information for her there and then. I typically handed in my notice after this incident and made it clear of my distaste in the management. After I left, I put a very honest but fair review on Glassdoor. I mentioned the manager's mood swings and historic abusive behavior. It's been 4 months since I left there, and I feel so much happier. I'm still in contact with a few people that work there, as I was great friends with them. They've been telling me that my review has caused them to lose 3 great candidates in interviews, and has caused others to start putting more information on Glassdoor about them. The MD's salary was put on there, and it has been quite a stir. She earned triple of what I was making, yet all of us did triple the amount of work she did. I heard that 4 people had handed their notice in this week alone. The place is only a 20-person company. I've heard from one of the staff members that my review, although the managers don't fully know it was my review, has caused the 2 managers to finally see the issues with each other and are now blaming each other for it. And it's very typical of the subreddit to create their own narrative for your story. Please only take what is here and don't create your own fabricated hypotheticals to paint me in this shitty, pathetic manager when my department was never / rarely ever the one getting shouted at. Edit 2. Genuinely shocked by the downvotes to my comments. People were really expecting to go against my colleagues' wishes and go after the manager after they shouted at them. That would just make my colleagues hate me as well for going against their wishes. So, yeah. This story, with the edits, I might read the comments, I might not. We're in offline mode, so they'll be a little bit difficult to read anyway. So with this story, one, the fact you worked there for about 8 years, but even though, like, you were in an apartment that was rarely yelled at or whatever, yeah, some people, they definitely don't want you to get in their business, and you don't want to be a troublemaker. But the fact, like, you saw them yelling unjustly at, like, several people, or maybe you didn't know exactly why they were yelling at them, but you also didn't have contact with the person they were yelling at them to go, hey, what was that about? Because they could have just, not been in the mood to talk about it and whatnot. But yeah, that's definitely a red flag if you ever just see management just yelling and screaming, and you can't discern the reason or figure it out later. Yeah, that would have been like, I'm gonna find a new job and then I'm going to be out. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you have to leave 2 weeks. That is like a myth at this point. As I saw someone, I think it was like, I see a lot of his stuff on YouTube, but he probably posts on TikTok as well. But yeah, most of us, we have stopped caring about that 2 weeks. If you're in a right to work state, it is on. If you can fire me without a 2 week notice, I can leave without a 2 week notice. I don't care. But yeah, with the way management was and what you saw, like, I got it. It wasn't your section. But at the same time, that would have made me very leery of all that. They're just constantly yelling at other people. And going around, like, honestly, I'm not nosy, but my husband is. He would have figured out why they're yelling. But I hear yelling and I'm just like, I don't think I want to be here no more. And I'm that bitchy. I will leave. But yeah, that is this story. I'm also kind of amused that, like, with the reviews, they're just like, oh, we can't keep anyone. Nobody wants to work here. I wonder why. Your shitty practices are coming home to roost. So now, let us go on to our next story. Don't like my silly job? You don't get its silly perks. Posted by Little Redbird 1991. So I work in technical theater as an assistant stage manager. There are a couple of theaters in the area, but the tech community is rather small, so we all know each other. I work for a smaller theater, and I know a few people who work at the largest theater that hosts the traveling Broadway shows. These shows are really popular and hard to get tickets for if you aren't a season ticket holder, and season tickets can run about $1,000 per seat for 7 shows. Tickets are normally about $150 for an individual show, but can go up significantly if the show is going to be popular. 1, thank you for your service in the theater industry. That is a very difficult job, and you have like a lot of people that have make sure that they have all their shit together and know when they're supposed to be on stage, where they're supposed to be. So yeah, thank you for your service. The husband of one of the directors that I work with is on the board of the theater and sometimes can score good seats at a discounted rate. This season, Aladdin is coming to town, a show my future mother-in-law has been dying to see. She asked me if I could possibly get her and a friend a seat so they could go see it. I called in a favor with my director and she managed to get 2 prime seats. Since her husband is on the board, she gets a discount, so the tickets ended up only being about $75 for the 2 seats. I reserved them in my name with the understanding that future mother-in-law will pay for the tickets. 1, Aladdin, great show. We found out it was coming to the Fox here in Georgia, and we instantly bought our tickets as soon as we could. And we were at, like, the seats at the very, very back, at the top, high as fuck seats. Like, the carpet stopped. We weren't, like, right where the carpet stopped, but we were close to where it stopped. And it was a great show, beautiful show. Highly recommend going to see any stage plays that you can go see. It's just phenomenal. I really enjoy it. Fast forward a couple of weeks and future mother-in-law invites me and my fiancé over for dinner. Dinner goes well and I end up in a conversation with future mother-in-law and future sister-in-law about household work. I don't know why. Future sister-in-law is a teacher and she is married to an accountant, so she said that her and her husband try to split the chores 50-50. Future mother-in-law thought that was fine and asked how fiancé and I would do it. We don't currently live together. I said, probably the same, 50-50. Future sister-in-law agreed, but future mother-in-law gave me the stink eye. I asked if there was something wrong, and she said, well, fiancé works full-time and you don't, so I don't see how that's fair. I told her that I do work full-time, just not at a 9-to-5 like fiancé. Future mother-in-law then laughed at me and said what I did wasn't real work, and that it was just a silly side gig, and that maybe if I got a real job, I would know what it is like to really work. Then she changed the subject. Ooh, future mother-in-law is kind of a Karen. That's what I'm getting. Because I'm just like, bitch, the fuck? You want me to get you these tickets? And you think my job is a silly side gig? The fuck? Rude as shit. This pissed me off because I am very proud of the work I do, as you should be, OP. You do a great job. I'm sure of it. It's a very important job. It may not be a 9 to 5, but I love my work. It is my dream, and I do make enough to cover my expenses. It actually takes a certain amount of skill to properly stage manage a full-scale production. So enter pettiness. I called up the box office for the large theater and told them to cancel the tickets. They were in my name, so they gladly canceled them. I then texted future mother-in-law and told her if she thinks my job isn't real, then the side perks aren't real, so the tickets were canceled. I then shut off my phone. I love this, Petty. I love it! I'm so happy about this. The next day, when I turn on my phone, I see several missed calls and about a dozen texts from future mother-in-law. She is fuming because her friend is coming into town specifically to see this play. I called her back and told her she might still be able to get the seats if she called the box office. She ended up getting the seats, but they cost her $150 each, and they weren't as good. Hopefully she'll learn not to insult someone and still expect to benefit from them. Sorry for any typos am on mobile at work. Cross-posted to Am I the Asshole? You are not the jerk. You, my darling, deserve a crown. I think you left it somewhere, probably on the stage you manage, but you deserve a crown. Because future mother-in-law was being a dick, and she needed that nice little kick in the shin to be like, hey, don't be a dick and still expect the benefits. I've seen so many people in my family be jerks and then still expect to benefit from it. And it's just like, no, that's not how that's gonna work, baby. So, thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed these stories as much as I enjoyed reading them, because they are fantastic. And yeah, let me know what other kind of stories you want me to read down in the comment section below. Stay safe, stay hydrated, all that good stuff. Bye-bye!